telephone number was invented in Lowell, Massachusetts, and it was invented by a guy named Moses Greeley Parker. He was a doctor, but in the mid-1870s, he went to an exhibition at a place like the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. And the exhibition was presented by a guy named Alexander Graham Bell, who had just invented the telephone. Parker was very interested in this new invention. He was intrigued by its possibilities, so he invested heavily in it. And Lowell was an early center of the telephone industry in Massachusetts. In 1879, however, there was a medical situation that Parker got involved in. There was an outbreak of measles in the city, and many people were being quarantined, which means they had to stay in their homes. And there were only 4 telephone operators in the city at that time, and they were the only ones who knew which wires to connect to which other wires to connect people to have phone conversations. So everyone feared that if they got sick and weren't able to come to work, the phone system would shut down. So Parker thought, well, why don't we just put numbers on all the lines, and that way replacement operators won't have to memorize whose line, what name goes with what line. And so that's thought to be the invention of the telephone number. I don't know where the original switchboard was in Lowell. I know that the telephone company has been located at the corner of Appleton Street and Central Street for probably at least a century. The original building that I understand was there, and there's a newer brick building, and it's been taken over by AT&T and Verizon, but that's where I think the original switchboard was located, but I'm not sure. Well, Moses Greeley Parker is buried in Lowell Cemetery, which is located next to Shed Park, and he's buried in a mausoleum, which is a stone structure built above ground rather than buried in the ground. And in his mausoleum, there's a stained glass window that was created by the Tiffany Company of New York City, which is a very famous glass maker. Moses Greeley Parker was born in Lowell in the 1830s. He went to Harvard Medical School, and he graduated during the Civil War. At that time, the medical profession was really kind of backwards. The older doctors did things the way they had always done it, and they kept the younger doctors from trying new things. But the Civil War gave all of these young doctors an opportunity to experiment with new methods of treating patients because of all the wounds suffered by soldiers in battle. And Parker came out of the Civil War as a very knowledgeable and advanced physician. And he had a very thriving medical practice. He never married, he never had any children. And he made all of his money not from practicing medicine, but from investing in the phone company. And so when he died, he left a great fortune. And much of that has been passed on to charity in the form of the Moses Greeley Parker Foundation, which still helps people in Lowell today.